my Irish jig about my dad shitting his pants in Gemini.
Welcome to the Hevi AI Podcast, where the future's forging iron and coal.
Hello and welcome to the Hevi AI Podcast, the podcast where we explore the intersection of AI technology and industry. I'm Paul, he's Brad, and together we've built Hevi, your AI-powered contract administration platform. So plenty to dive in this week. It feels like it's been a massive week of AI news. I'm not sure if it's just the run into Christmas that everyone's just releasing new drops of models every second day, but it's been a massive week. So lots to cover off today, Brad. How's things your end?
Yeah, 100%. They're exciting. There's so much new stuff to play with that I haven't had time to play with it all. And I'm
To
just
play with it all,
waiting
yeah,
to
exactly.
get the time
Just
to
scratching
jump
the
in.
surface. Scratching the surface today and then diving deeper as we go.
Mhm.
But yeah, let's dive into some AI news.
News of the week, changing life with every tweet. Tomorrow's here, it's at its peak. Tuned into AI news of the week.
Yeah, let's dive into some AI news of the week. And yeah, I guess the two things that we're going to cover off today are the latest, two out of the three latest model drops. We're going to probably leave Grok to the side for now because neither of us use it too much, so we probably can't talk about it too much. But yeah, ChatGPT 5.1 launched the other day, and just very, very quietly on the down low. Like I think I was using GPT for something and just noticed that in the top left it started saying 5.1. I was like, oh, what does this mean and what does it do? And like zero fanfare around it. And reading into it, it's very much around the backlash that OpenAI got when they moved from 4.0 to 5. Everyone was like, oh no, like it's all personalityless and like I can't tweak it to be how I want it to be. And it's all just telling me stuff that I don't like. It feels like I've lost a friend because I don't have my 4.0 model to talk to. And so they've like released 5.1 to be less around like the actual fundamental technology improving, but more around like the fluffy stuff around the edges. That's sort of my take on it, Brad. Like, what's your take?
Yeah, exactly. When you read the release, that's basically what it is. It's like it'll use emojis to you.
Yeah.
Which is probably mostly just prompt engineering rather than the model itself changing much. And I guess I was pretty disappointed at that because for the 4.0 to 4.1 was huge, like functionality improvement. Like the token limit increased massively. 4.1 has the million token context limit, and so I was kind of hoping that 5 to 5.1 would be similar, but no, unfortunately.
Yeah, and like it looks like you can there's sort of like default personalities that you can adjust in your settings to say, hey, friendly or professional or quirky, or like just set up your own thing, which is again is just like a bunch of custom instructions and prompt stuff.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
the other thing I did see was the speed. Like, and I think I've personally noticed that like the speed has improved quite a bit. Like 5 would just go and think for like minutes and you'd just be like, okay, I'm going to start something and go and do something else and then come back and wait for my response. Whereas 5.1 has like significantly increased its speed of response, even with sort of, deeper thinking capabilities. So it'd be interesting to see like, what's that about as well.
Yeah, that's a good point because 5 was really slow. Like it was so much slower than 4 and 4.1 and all these predecessors, which is kind of surprising because you think user experience is kind of key, even over that accuracy. So I was surprised that it was so slow. I'd say so rather than thinking of 5.1 as being fast, I just think 5.0 was just this weird slow model that we had for a while, which needed improving.
Yeah. That's probably a good segue to our next news of Gemini 3 dropping just yesterday, because in all things of my testing of Gemini versus ChatGPT, like Gemini is, I don't want to say infinitely faster, but just so much faster for most stuff than ChatGPT.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like we mentioned last week, the image generation, I think today I actually had them going in parallel,
Nice.
generating the same thing. And I probably got like 5 different iterations in Gemini before the first one had even finished in ChatGPT. And yeah, I guess seems similar with with Gemini and 3 now generating text and things like that. Um, but oh yeah, overall, for me, I think like it's been a while since Gemini 2.5, so it's kind of like they just needed to release something anyway, just to have a training data update.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think like it's the benchmarks have gotten so good now. Like I know when I get new models to be like, okay, what's the thing that I use to test to be like, oh, this is like a step change, and this is going to really change like the workflow, or this is going to really impact me personally. Like everything's sort of 80 to 90% of the way there already. Like we're not solving cancer, we're not like one-shotting Einstein's theory of relativity. Like what do you go to as your like? How do you test the new models as they come out? Do you have like a series of prompts that you run just to see what's happening?
I do it through different tools because I guess if I'm doing it for like coding or something, I'll usually like that's probably the first place I test things, and I'll give it a very complex task
Yeah.
because I know that like things can like if it can do a simple task, I don't care. There's already tools that can do that well. I'll give it something that I don't think the existing models would get right the first time, and just see if it gets it right. So that's usually my go-to, something really complex. And then just kind of if it doesn't get it, then just dialing it back and back
Dial it
until
back.
till it does get it right.
Yeah.
This time with Gemini, I tested it going to Google's actual AI studio itself
Yeah.
to get it to like, just build a website. And it was okay. I mean, what it came out with was good quality, like the code, I guess, or at least just visually looking at it. But yeah, what it made me think was also about the actual app layer that Google's building around all this stuff. So the AI studio to try and be lovable,
Yeah.
and yeah, some other apps they're trying to build to get people to use their models more and more as well.
Yeah, I think we mentioned it the other day as well, is that like that distribution sort of moat that they have to a degree is that like everyone is in Google search. It's just that expanding out to Google AI by extension, where that's through AI Studio. And I see like they launched Anti-Gravity, which is like their IDE, like cursor windsurf sort of clone or equivalent. And I think the massive thing that they do have with that distribution, and because they've got billions or trillions of dollars on balance sheets, that they can offer it all for far less cost, if not free, for those users, which is like most on-ramp. Like what are most people's on-ramp to AI? It's probably going to Google search and then saying like an AI overview button at the top, and now they've got like the option of AI mode, which then sort of like triggers into a Gemini chat thread. That's either, if they're not going directly to ChatGPT, because the one everyone knows and loves, it's just like through the Google search methodology that people are going to get exposed to that. So interesting to see how it goes.
That's right. If they can guide people into their apps and it's all free and seamless, and they never have to enter a credit card or create a new account because it's all in their Google account, then I think like they do have a good shot at winning over the other, like the Lovables and these other apps that have come out. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
If there's anyone that's got like the test for us to vibe code or to spin up quickly in these new tools, drop it in the comments and we'll get building for you. The one thing that I've seen like just in the last 24 hours is a bunch of people just vibe coding games, or just like, hey, clone me Super Mario that is using a like piece of fruit instead of a Mario character. Or I saw one that was a like 3D globe Pac-Man. So it was like a Pac-Man character on a 3D globe chasing after thing and getting chased by ghosts. And it was like, it's a one-shot thing. So I'm like, okay, what's a vibe coded game that we can use to sort of sell or promote Heavy? Like, let's come up with something that we can
mining
test out. Yeah, exactly. Like mining, and then we dig in and find a problem and be like, hey, we should have done this instead of this, and see what happens. So we'll see if we can get cracking on that at some point. Yeah, jumping in.
Keeps me running, keeps me sleep. It's my compass, my guide, my street. Out to the week.
Yeah, jumping into our AI tool this week, which is pretty exciting because we've gone deep. Both of us have gone deep on this in the last week. We've probably been detrimental work-wise, but really good from fun-wise. Our AI tool for this week is Suno, the AI music tool. And Brad, being the more musician of the two of us, give us the lowdown on all things Suno.
Yeah, so it's amazing. It really is kind of, I think what they say, like democratizing like good production for music. And like it works. That's the crazy thing. The new model V5 is really been the step change that's brought it from, you're kind of tinkering around with something, but it's not really usable, to now like their V5 model. It's in one prompt, it will build an entire song that actually sounds like a song you'd hear on the radio, and like most people couldn't tell the difference. So
100%.
If it's building that instantly, like it changes everything about where
like
music's come from.
For everyone who's listening to the podcast, each of the like segment tracks that are like the 10-second clips throughout each of our episodes, I created those the audio of those within Suno, and just like one prompt to be like, hey, we've got a podcast, we're doing this, this, and this. Like, give me the AI news of the week one, which is now in my children's heads and requested on car rides, is like, give me an EDM banger that is talking about AI news of the week for our podcast that I can use as a segment intro. Like, and then, one-shotted that, which is pretty epic.
Yeah, 100%. I think that there's kind of a few parts to it. One is the generating something completely from scratch. That is useful for people even who are non-musical, just to be like, I want a song, or like, I want a song about me and my friends.
Yeah.
It's going to really personalize music. But then there's also almost a level up for people who are like semi-musical, who maybe just don't have time. So like, I've done a few where I like have a bit of a tune that I make up myself, just sing it into my phone and say, turn this into a proper song. And then it turns that thing that you have written into a proper song. So like, you're still involved in that, process of building it, but it's then helping bring it to the next level. And similarly, I've even done ones, you play something on guitar, like write a full song, play it in. I've had taking my old recordings from when we were in high school, putting them in and saying, remake this as in modern production quality. So it's got something for every level of musician, from complete beginner to people who are actually recording.
I'll quickly show my non-musical use of Suno in a quick 2-second demo, and then you can share your screen, Brad, and give us the musical version of Suno. But this is the Suno interface here. And we've both signed up for the pro account, which is like $120 a year, which is like just so cheap compared to what you get. But like, even the free one, you can get a lot of good value for free just playing around with it. And as Brad said, like building personalized songs for occasions or birthdays or events or something is pretty epic. But like either in the simple mode where you can just one shot, hey, give me a song about XYZ and put in a bunch of like suggestions for lyrics. Or you can go to custom and create your lyrics that you want and then give it the style that you want as well. And what I've done is, like with the kids, I've created a series of stories about my dad, their grandparent, of stuff that's happened throughout the last couple of years that we now call like Deepar's catastrophes. And so I've created a bunch of storybooks using AI tools around that, which is pretty cool. And so like what I did this week was take the stories from those instances and then try to create a song based on these stories. So in Gemini, I was like, here's the outline of a story. Give me a prompt that I can then use in Suno to turn this story into a great catchy song in a Irish jig, for this example. And I did one that was, another one was modern Aussie rock pub classic, and another one that was like a epic Disney power ballad and 90s animated film style as well. And the outputs are like surprisingly insane.
Well, gather round you lads and lasses, a story I will tell about our hero Deepa and his lovely well in a German market square. One sunny afternoon, he spied the fruit that because of his impending doom made the juicy, sweet, flat peaches. Ooh, his eyes went big and wide. Begorra, he cried out, they're me favourite deep inside. To keep his bottom shut, a running for his belly started beating like a drum. Oh, rumble, rumble went his belly, rumble, rumble went his gut. He had to clench his cheeks together to keep his bottom shut, a running for the apartment, a praying for the loo. But the peaches won the battle, oh, what's a man to do?
My Irish jig about my dad shitting his pants in Germany. What are you building, Brad? Give us a view of your artistic genius using Suno.
Yeah, I'll show you some that I've got here. Let's go to the tab. So I've got one here. If I go all the way back to it, I'm sure you'll see. Oh man, there's a lot in here. Doesn't tell me how many pages of stuff I've got, actually. But there's
I think I'm up to 2 or 3, I think, and you're up to like 8 already.
let's see. Okay. Where did I record this? I think I just randomly sang some words into it. Never felt like this before. Wanted to open up your door. Yeah. Yeah. See, that was like
Yeah.
making up words, just like
Making up rant, yeah.
making up a random tune, just singing to the phone to see what would happen.
Wanted to see what's underground, wanted to see what can't be found. Yeah, yeah. Left you to see what's come before, left you to feel.
Ahead.
Saw the leather on my friend, coming up stronger in the end. Daylight breaks, evening falls, we're all just spinning round unsure. What are you spinning for?
So yeah, you've just got,
But if you heard that like on the radio or anywhere in background music anywhere, like that's no way you're telling that's not
that's it. You wouldn't know.
Like, real recording
That's
artist.
it. That's it.
Where we are today. Like the crazy thing is like application of this technology across like just any type of media. That like I'm sorry for people that rely on royalties from ad music or jingles across like movie trailers or just cinematic background music for TV and stuff. Like it's insane what you can do very, very quickly. And that's just with us not being that technical and not being that into it, are already getting out of it.
For sure. And it's the same as stock imagery is basically dead because you can AI generate any stock image now. It's the same for, I think there's a stock music. I think there'll still be room for human-made new music because this is obviously only trained on backward-looking stuff. So there'll be still humans producing stuff that's new and different that hasn't been done. But anything like the stock stuff, go on.
And I said to you the other day, it's anytime you need an event or any type of celebration or any type of anything, we're just going to have instantly created theme songs for life. You can just create like a soundtrack for daily life now.
Oh, for sure. My prediction for where this goes is into DJing and having live DJing where you are just continuously prompting instead of having music that you've pre-prepared lined up and then you're kind of just like switching between tracks, you will just be on the fly going, all right, now it's time to like have a big build up. All right, let's go. Like the AI is just going to generate that. And then, all right, ready for a drop now, make it go in, we'd use some description around it. It's going to be real basic after this. It's just going to do it almost live, like, just after your prompting.
Yeah. And then like referencing the real world around it and like the events that are happening. Hey, shout out to that crazy chip on the shoulder.
yeah, exactly. But yes, we will see. Probably one of the interesting
Nice epic. So yeah.
Things about it, which relates to our last episode, is like the lesson that it teaches on. Does it have to, work perfectly to be useful? So I guess Suno, I've found, has the app layer that's like getting there, but there's still heaps and heaps of bugs in it and heaps of things that don't work. But the fact is, it like, even with all those issues, it's so much better than doing it manually.
Yeah. And it's only going to get better over time as well.
That's right.
As the underlying technology keeps improving as well. I get sued out of business by all of the recording labels because they've really just like trained on a bunch of modern pop songs. Yeah. But anyway, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole today. So let's
Answering
finish
your
off.
AI FAQs, the things I can and cannot do. Ask me once, ask me twice. I don't need tips, but I'll give advice.
Good myth. No. So this week's AI FAQ, which is similar to what we've just spoken about, but it's how do I write good prompts? So whether you're using just general ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, Claude, whatever, or you're vibe coding and wanting a good prompt for a vibe coding tool, or you're using Suno or a image gen model or a like VO3 video model, what do you do when you're prompting, Brad?
So I might have a controversial thing to say on this one. I don't think using AI to build you prompts is always a good thing, because you're not adding any new information. Like if you think about it, if you can tell ChatGPT a sentence and then it can build you 5 sentences out of that to put into another model, any thinking model can just do that itself. It is doing that behind the scenes anyway. Yeah. So a lot of people will say, use these like prompt like generator tools. I don't think so. I think it's about getting the information, like thinking about what exact information needs to be in there for it to do its job. It's like almost giving instructions to a worker. It's like just being a good communicator.
Yeah.
Imagine that person knows nothing. Like, what is the minimum amount of information they need to do that job? And then, the formatting doesn't matter. The spelling doesn't matter. Don't get too bogged down in grammar and things. Just
the structure.
Just make sure that you have the minimum information that you need.
I'm probably like halfway to you, because I will often just say, hey, I'm trying to do X task. Write me the ultimate prompt to achieve X task. But then I'll also add the additional point. Ask me a bunch of questions to gather any context that you need to make sure that the output is the best it can be. So that's how I use AI to write my prompts, to use AI. The other thing that I'll always sort of say is that the context is king.
Yeah.
And generic prompts will give you generic answers. Like highly specific prompts will give you those highly specific answers that you're looking for. And so I always like to structure it to be whether it's role plus context plus task plus output format plus any constraints or like things that you want to be excluded or what not to do. And if you can structure it like that, with the context being sort of the most important thing there, because like as the underlying technology is getting better, the role is usually in a system prompt somewhere, or you don't really need to specify it because it can just infer it from what you're trying to do. And even the task is like, well, it's going to be in the context that you've got anyway. And the format, it usually gets a pretty good format output anyway, and it'll give you like a bunch of like generation is what they're really good at. So generating stuff is going to happen no matter what. So really focusing on that context piece is critical. And the way that I've started doing it, and it's something that we can tackle maybe even next week, is using a voice to text transcriber app on my computer. And so instead of typing out a bunch of words into a prompt, I'll just hit a couple of buttons on my computer and then talk to my computer for a little while and just respond something and give it a bunch of context about stuff. And then that becomes the prompt that I can then run and get the output that I'm looking for.
No, totally. I really love the way that you ask the AI what information you might need to include in the prompt, because that is something where it will be good at expanding the amount of information that goes in. But yeah, it's about doing that iterative process of going, yeah, this is what I'm trying to achieve. What am I missing? Like, what else do you think you need to know to do this successfully? Then give it that, and then it will give you the info. And I think overall, just try it multiple times. That's the thing, is like, don't get hung up on getting the perfect prompt, and don't spend 10 minutes writing it. Just first have a crack in 5 seconds. If it doesn't work, then make it a bit more specific. Then, be iterative that way too. So that's because
I've actually found that in a lot of the ones where I have just used AI to write me the ultimate prompt to achieve X in a image gen model or a video generation model. And you get this like massive JSON file markdown of like all these inclusions or exclusions for the prompt. And then you run that and you're like, oh yeah, the output's okay. And then you just go back to square one and just like write a bunch of random words and stuff that is just a generic instruction from me. And the output's like still 99% the way there. The variance isn't that much. So yeah, experiment and have a play.
Yeah, totally.
Which is probably a good segue to our myth that we're going to bust this week. And our AI myth busting, tearing it down. Every lie, every fear spun around. We're not the villains, not the crown. AI myth busting, true profound. True profound. Our AI myth for busting is, if an AI tool can't solve a problem or one-shot a perfect outcome, it's going to be useless, and therefore you should stop using it and just throw it onto the trash pile and keep living life. Like, that is clearly a myth. And we know that, as we've talked about just now, that you can be constantly iterating. The way that you learn will improve the outputs that you get from the tools that you're using. It'll make them better, and the tools are constantly getting better. And I like to frame it as, and as I think you said before, Brad, it's like think of it as how you would instruct an employee. Like, if you've got someone new on your team and you're training them up to do a job, you don't just give them instructions like a one-shot prompt and then let them go and do their work and then come back and be like, oh, that's wrong. Hey, you're fired. Good luck. Find a new job. Like, see you later. You're going to like work with them, give them some more constraints or give them some more instructions, give them some more information, and then iterate, react, improve.
Yeah, and in doing that, you learn how to be a better manager and how to give instructions better. And you both end up learning kind of different skills, but the output just keeps getting better and better.
So like any more on the myth busting of, if you can't one shot it, it's useless?
No, I mean, we both are very passionate about it and fully understand. I think for other people, it's just going to be about getting those reps in, practicing it. Like, it's a habit. When you first try a new AI tool, if you haven't used a lot of different AI tools, you're going to just ask it one question and then judge it based on that one answer. I'm just saying, when you do go in, be aware that that's going to be your temptation, and just force yourself not to, and just ask the question 5 different ways. Go back and start a new chat. Ask it again, new chat, ask it again. And then you get a feel for how the model actually works.
Awesome. Well, that's it for us for today's episode. Be sure to like and subscribe to the Hevi AI Podcast wherever you're listening to us. And if you'd like to learn more about Hevi and what we do, then jump on over to hevi.app. Thanks for listening and have a great day.